you're in my domain. Got the whole crowd screaming out our name. It's a blowout, it's a hurricane. It's over before you know it. We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights. For the glory, for the glory. We celebrate with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer, it's the ultimate high. For the glory, we do it for the glory.
Good evening, Summoners. We will now move on to the last game of the LVL 2018 Summer Split. My name is Vulcan, and with me is Arctic, your shoutcasters entering the last game.
Yes, and really exciting right here. We just came up a game kung saan nanalo ang Bulacan State University in their debut game dito sa LVL. Pero, syempre, back-to-back games sila ngayon. They managed to face iAcademy. They're gonna have to kick it up a notch as they face Malayang College's Laguna naman this time around. Two of our provincial teams in fact.
Oh yeah, actually, that's something that I found similar with the two schools. Malaya yung is that the right way to say it? Yung commute?
Yes.
They come from far places and they come here to play for their schools and for their teams as something that's worth noting and something to look up to, especially the effort, the time that the teams are putting in to participate in the LVL.
True. So, I don't know this time around though, because Bulacan State University, yung iAcademy, medyo fresh pa silang medyo fresh pa sila sa ating collegiate scene. They just started last term, so second term pa lang nila to. While MCL, it's a bit of a different story kasi galing sila ng LCL and they were pretty successful in their own conference. So it's kind of like a north versus south happening right here na nagtakbo ngayon sa LVL, and of course only one can reign victorious.
This kind of reminds me of the good old days when LCL was an inter-conference series where we do see schools and teams such as Adamson Pigment Authority, even Xavier University.
Yeah.
I remember the games itself where they had a neck-and-neck fight, also with BULSU. So now in the LVL, it will be more of a centralized thing. So let's see how things will pan out as we are going to move on to our last game. And worth noting here is that for MCL, going at a 1-1, 3 games in their opening week must be tough.
Yeah, it must be tough, but then again, at least they're heading into this game after a game na napanalo naman nila. Kasi syempre ang mas mahirap, tatlong game kayo tapos yung first 2 games nyo talo pa. So, di ba it doesn't feel good under any circumstances. Kahit gaano ka pang positive na tao. Ish.
It makes you nervous.
Yeah.
It's actually it breeds anxiety amongst the players, especially I think you know that feeling where as a coach or as a support staff when you're at a 0-2 going to a last game, it could be disaster if they don't shake things off here. But safe to say for MCL, with that 1 victory, they should feel good about themselves moving into this game. But now BULSU will be fighting MCL, Malayan College's Laguna. In a way, they did see each other in the LCL Interconference Series way back then. Also the fact that both of them are quite veterans in the collegiate scene.
Oh yeah, and I think it just comes down to which team, like, will one of the teams from LCL's past be able to topple down one of the fresher talents that came out of the LCL. So kasi mas veteran dito sa pagkakataong to yung MCL while si Bulacan State University yung medyo fresh pa. So it's the experience versus the raw potential na meron ng BULSU.
Raw potential is the right way to say it, especially for BULSU's history in their run in the collegiate sports team. But now they will be facing against MCL, no strangers themselves, entering the opening week. And what do you think about BULSU's performance in the game 1?
Oh man, game 1 was definitely pretty interesting, especially like looking at how the drafting went. If you look at Bulacan State University's composition, nakakita na ako ng flexibility. I really like how you could tell that having a coach definitely benefited them from the transition from LCL to LVL. Meanwhile, from iAcademy, in all fairness to them, ito yung medyo na pag-usapan namin ni Commissioner Saglet na this is somewhat signature what you'd expect from iAcademy. This is one of the compositions na talagang very much go-to nila. So, overall, I think iAcademy did pretty well in that game. But it's just that towards the later parts of the game, talagang na-push ng Bulacan State University yung speed nila, like going for those 2 barons. So, overall, in all, just really worked out for them in the end.
Not just that, one thing that I like about Bulacan State University is that they were gutsy, they were ballsy enough to leave that Kaisa open. And I think Jisoo and I was talking about how Kaisa in the blue side immediately gets it. I mean, you get it instantly, but BULSU, they were actually challenging Ayak. Maybe they knew for a fact that they know their potential, they know their mechanics and their skill level. They could have at least matched it despite the Kaisa pick. But will it be the same now here for a match against MCL?
In all fairness though, I like that you mentioned the word gutsy. Kasi you have to take into account na buti sana kung pangalawang term na nila to debut term nila to so diba, like if you're entering the LVL on your first game, you wanna take the safer route na okay, hindi kami yung blue side, medyo threat yung Kaisa. Siguro medyo iba natin para mas nandun yung chance ng victory. Pero hindi, like, they took the risk of leaving it open and it eventually paid off. Like, Empyrean was able to kind of roll with the punches despite yung once the level 6 ultimates were out there, talagang dun na nag-go yung iAcademy. But yeah, it's just the end result, Bulacan State University performing. But talking about MCL though, sige, dito naman tayo. Because you've been mentioning loses. So I have to agree with you. Talagang 2 of the players I really look out for sa MCL is number 1 si Lucis. Kasi Lucis talaga for me is probably the superstar on the roster. I think you'd agree with me in saying that. And pangalawa naman si Stellar syempre. Who's been the guy that's able to work with the team behind the scenes to keep MCL afloat. And I think that's something that's very critical din, especially if you're going to consider the structure ng LVL na it's not just about having a team na talagang it has to be like that 360 work happening.
Something that I didn't see with MCL in the first term was, yes, as you said, Arctic Lucis being one of the consistent players. I think we saw that kanina with the Orn to Nar. I think Chisto was saying to me that what kind of matchup does a Nar lose to an Orn? It just goes to show how much workaround that Lucis has, and not to mention one of the key players now I'm looking at BULSU is their jungler, the Skarner being played here for Bulacan State University.
And I think this is what I was looking into research earlier na may pro and con kasi yung pag-transition ng BULSU from LCL to LVL. Yung isang naging con is they actually lost out on one of their key players, si Jors, na kasama actually nila dito ngayon sa studio natin ngayon. So he was actually one of the key figures ng Bulacan State University team. But heading into this term, luckily, kahit nawala yung key figure na yun, nakapag-upgrade pa sila ng roster nila by acquiring the new jungler that they have. And nakita naman talaga sa performance ng Skarner na yun, grabe. That early on, shut down on the Shen towards the top side. So, it's just pretty good. And like I said, the raw potential, hopefully it just leads to even greater heights for this team. Kung maging successful sila sa first term nila sa LVL.
Kind of reminds me of TUB style where we do see, as you said, the upgrade that despite the key figures disappearing, they were able to compensate and just try and readjust their performance. And that's something that you will look out for, a great LVL team that separates it from the good ones right here for 2018 spring term.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I'm really raring to get into this, but how about you, man? Because we've gone through 7 games already. This is the first time that we're doing the collegiate with 8 teams, with the exception siguro of casting yung mga semi-finals games, yung mga finals. Yung, di ba, meron tayong isang dating best of 5 na dalawang finals, di ba? I think that was like North or South of Metro West in 1 day.
That was 10 games.
Pero ito talaga, like a group stage na naturally 8 games no matter what. So, how's it been for you, Vulcan? Especially as a play-by-play, syempre. And you've casted the most games out of all of us casters for today. Like, you have 1 game up.
When it comes to something such as impactful as okay, it's coming from the heart. Kapagod. Kapagod. I'm not gonna say like medyo the way I would say the cast, kapagod, bro. Yeah, so when it comes to the cast, it's exhausting, but at the same time, it's fun. I get to exercise my lungs. Maybe when I go to vacation, when I go scuba diving, it may help me breathe longer down in the ocean. But as far as the shift in the format, the group stage is becoming 8 games, right? Imagine a tiebreaker.
Oh my goodness. Alam mo kung...
Imagine a tiebreaker because if you're talking about yung dalawang finals natin na 10 games, imagine a tiebreaker that could potentially be more than 10.
Whew. Alam mo kung sayang kung yung casting sana nakakatunaw ng calories, siguro ang laki na ng pinayat ko. Pero hindi Hindi.
Wait. Okay, this is gonna be one of my trivias.
Okay.
Some say that when you talk, you do burn calories. That's why you would normally... Okay, I can't say it on stream. If everyone wants to know what my kwento is, you can always PM my page at Opa Vulcan. But going back to your point... Segue. That's my segue. That's my segue. But that's gonna be... I mean, calories-wise, I think we do still burn calories because we're using our muscles in our throats.
True. I think, that's what my... Bago tayo mag-full stray sa topic, sige, we'll bring it back. Pero yun nga yung sabi ng personal trainer ko na we always burn calories kahit yung tipong at rest lang. It's just that kung napapadami yung kain mo, syempre na-override yun. But anyway, quick fitness tip, kahit hindi ako yung optimal person na bibigyan ng fitness tips, but I'm getting there.
I mean, every journey starts somewhere, and it's everywhere you put your heart and you put your personality to it. That's what we see in players, especially the fact that when LCL started out, I can recall that it was really student-driven community where we want this, we wanted you to get us, and we will perform. We saw this with a great growth to collegiate, and we saw this as an opportunity to level that up. That's why level, no pun intended, but it was more of a shift in let's give more support to these teams in their endeavors to try and go for a collegiate esports scene.
Yeah, and talagang we've come such a long way. Like, you've got to give credit. Naalala ko talaga nung medyo new fight pa yung LCL. Like, we've had so many people that made it possible. Naalala ko pa yung panahon ni Banana Kate transitioning to sina Niku Taichu, si Mick Garena, si Metanoia, and now we have Crazy Apple who's leading the fray for both LCL and LVL. Bigatin yun, ha?
So we call him the commissioner on stream.
The
commissioner. Like, I think when I saw, you guys may not see it, more of, let's say, a fun fact, since we do have some technical difficulties. So we are sorry for that, and maybe in a way you're chatting right now that grabe, medyo dal yung casters, and we can't help it, guys. So get to know us there, and not just that, we can actually see what's happening all throughout the flow of the LVO. It's really different when you're here on set, and I think we have one. Shoutouts to Al Majorum, the intern right now here for Garena.
Yeah, that's actually, I'm glad that you brought that up kasi nakikita nyo talaga na sometimes even our collegiate players, yung eventually nakakapag-transition talaga sila into potentially working in gaming and esports. So may mga nakita akong ganun yung nagamit na yung passion nila through the industry, tapos yung talagang naisipan nilang ituloy talaga. Hindi naman kailangan necessarily yung pag-player kayo itutuloy mo hanggang pro player. Like, there's so many other avenues. Like, pwede ka maging analyst, caster, pwede din, or yung behind the scenes. Malay nyo, kayo yung magiging successor ni Crazy Apple sa pagiging commissioner ng collegiate league. So, there's so many different things na pwede nyo gawin para makapasok sa ganitong industry ng gaming na.
And not to mention, one of these supplements towards that journey, when you have exposure towards the esports scene in maybe management skills, such as you, Arctic, you are no stranger to managing teams, the headaches, the nightmares, the saltiness that is still inside of you.
Yeah, in all fairness naman, there were fun times. I mean, I was able to handle a team na naging champion ng LCL, tapos we were able to represent the Philippines in the first LICC at Taiwan.
So TIP, if I recall.
Yeah, TIP.
The good days.
So at least may accomplishment na kahit paano bago mag-retire from competitive into being a full-time caster. So ayun, really good times. I think it just helps you, yung mga ganong struggles, parte talaga siya na it just helps you grow more as a person. Na ako personally, yung tipong hindi ako basta-basta interact sa mga ibang tao, yung hindi ko alam kung paano mag-handle ng different personalities, pero dahil sa esports, like, nakapag-handle talaga ako ng different types of people so it's worth it. I think lahat ng mga challenges na dumadaan sa naging deep talk, bigla live talk lahat ng challenges na dumadaan sa buhay natin naka-benefit. It just depends on how you look at it talaga.
I mean, at least we can picture how Arctic really is. I mean, most of the times where we do cast, I kind of it's unfortunate naman that I have to filter my words and how I sound on stream.
True.
Because frankly, me in person, I sound very differently.
Yeah.
But I think that was one thing. And I forgot his name. Yung intern galing si Xavier University. I forgot. Si Marvin.
Yes.
Si Marvin from Amajorab. He did notice how we talk differently off cam.
Yung tipong, this is like, syempre, we want
Especially me. And one of the guys here at Garina told me that, Vulcan, you can't reveal your true self just yet. But that's how I am.
Yeah, I think it's a good insight din sa mga viewers natin kasi na, syempre, we want to give the utmost respect to the league. Pero like, lalo yung mga tumututok sa stream ko, dun nila nakikita yung derpy, minsan nagwawalwal na side.
Minsan yung mga jitters natin, and especially right behind me is actually the game room nga.
Yeah.
So sometimes when the game goes by, sometimes I hear sounds from the wall and I get jumpy. Like right now, I think the players are setting up for the drafting phase, but I think Theo did a short introduction. Maybe I should give up short if you guys would still humor us. I mean, frankly, when it comes to the game itself, we did cover up a lot about returning teams, old teams, 3 new teams. And if you're wondering, again, reminder for the other 2 new teams entering the LBL. Shoutouts to DLSU, Veritas Arcus, one of the teams, the oldest running teams, I would say, from MCL. And despite not having the original roster, I've always heard that name. And one of the reasons where I had my first casting gig was I casted an invitational tournament held by Rappler Gaming League. It was Veritas Arcus who played, plus Ateneo de Manila University, Azure Eagles.
Wow, was way back.
It's way back. And now for Adamson Penguin Authority, now we talk about it for the LCL run. And I have stopped studying too altogether. Well, actually, I stopped studying in my graduation year in Mapua University.
Yeah. You were pretty buff back then as well.
Oh, yeah.
Patayin ako ni Vulcan bigla. Wait, tayo muna ako ng konti. Joke lang, guys.
Well, that's for the good old days. But in a way, it's nice that I was still able to find something I enjoy, and that's where I am right now. But I think we are now ready to go on to the drafting phase. Sorry for the medyo kwentuhan, but now let's get straight to the actual cast as BULSU goes to X. We'll be playing on the blue side as MCL Warlocks on the red side.
Yes, back to business tayo mga kaibigan. Looking at the bans right now. So, medyo assorted itong nakikita nating bans thrown out by Bulacan State University. So, Camille, Caso din as well as the Kled. So, I think this is a pretty good scouting of what MCL is capable of using. And it's interesting to note na surprisingly enough, hindi yung Lodi natin si Lucis ang maglalaro for top lane ng MCL. It's gonna be one of their newer players dito sa kanilang roster.
Shuhi will be now playing in the top lane for the Warlocks, and I think this was in a way one of the trends that we saw at the opening week of the LBL. The Kaisa, we saw it right here again as BULSU goes to X, immediately jumps into the Kaisa in the blue side.
Yeah, and interesting enough, I mean, I guess Empyrean will be showing us this time if he can live up to playing a Kaisa. Pero like, I got to talk to some of the players real quick bagong mag-start yung first game nila. Pinakita sa akin ni Empyrean yung profile niya. Tapos ang bumugan na champion, di ba kasi may champion background yun? Si Kaisa yung bumugan na champion. So he really got some good practice. But anyways, going back to our initial picks here, quick touch up on the second banning phase. Galio and Swain, 2 very proficient champions that have emerged as of the current meta. Kung mapapansin niyo yung bans ng MCL, it's much more focused on itong Skarner and Cho'Gath. Nakita naman natin nung game 1. So after MCL scouting that out, you can take that off.
You know what I love about the pick on the Ornn? Immediately picks it to counter that sign. Percentage maximum health is always a welcome damage against a health scaling champion such as the Scion, not to mention the Brittle. Once the Ornn hits the Brittle Scion, he will stop channeling his Q. So it's a really favorable matchup for the Ornn in the top lane. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, the Tomcatch is there as a safety net, if you would say. Not too sure about that, against the Kaisa.
Yeah, well, it looks like at the end of the day, we have our compositions locked in right here. So, mukhang medyo nag-shake up ng onti tong Bulacan State University with their composition. Pero, the only constant that remains here from Game 1 is yung Morgana support pa rin. So, meanwhile, for Malayan College's Laguna, I'm having Interesting flashbacks of seasons past. We have a Kennen in the top lane. We have a Sion in the mid lane. Man, oh man, I'm loving the innovation here.
This kind of reminds me of the patch notes I've read about Kennen's changes, the buffs itself, the AD, and the ridiculous attack speed. So in a way, we may have expected some Kennen top lanes while we were doing the overview, but now it's nice to see that we may expect it into play as how it will progress in the top lane. Here is the rundown, everyone, and you can see the social hashtags there. Whatever you feel like, whoever you feel like rooting for, just go straight for it. You can just show your support for your team.
Yes. Hashtag BULSU win ba o hashtag MCL win.
Yesh. Okay, medyo, I think I've met Yesh during that photo shoot. I think shoutouts to the people at Bulacan State University. Sila pala yun when I was talking with them. Like, one of the teams that was new to the LBL, I want to know more about them. And I think for Yesh, is a fellow countryman as me. Yes. So, ineffectively, medyo natripan sila sa akin where they were talking about Yesh is the pro player from Korea or something like that. So I think it's something that gives life to a team.
That's
their
true.
personality.
Yeah, and gives a little something extra to look forward to whenever you're watching the LBL, particularly Bulacan State University. Pero alam mo, what I really want to get to know, siguro like literally after this game right here, I'd love to find out why we're not going to be seeing Lucis play. Because I feel like Lucis is one of the key players na talagang, like you mentioned, very consistent. So maybe they have something up their sleeve na there are certain strategies na mas angkop kay Suyuki sa kay Lucis. So I guess malalaman natin yan later on when we head into the game if talagang that's going to be the case. So
now onto the Rift. Arctic for our last game, week 1 of the LVL. It's been memorable so far, and I'm pretty much excited to see how week 1 will pan out as we move on to week 2. And now, something that is on my mind is as same as you as MCL.
I think medyo na-excite si Kuya Suzuya natin sa pagsimula ng game na to.
Has to be careful because he does not have his jungle item.
And I think he's going to realize it a little bit too late.
I hope he does realize it because he won't be level 2. Wait.
Oh, I think he did.
Oh my god. I'm just hoping this is a visual bug. So, okay. Looks like he will take this game the hard way. Difficulty right now is hard mode. This is not a mistake. He would challenge.
I wonder
what he knows.
I would be. Okay, there you go. I think he realized it now.
A bit too late, won't you say?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my god!
The buff just spawned, so that's going to be quite a number of seconds lost, and that'll definitely give Yesh the upper hand here as far as finishing up on his rotations here in the jungle.
Oh dear, I think that's what I heard dun sa thin walls natin. Medyo they were laughing.
Yeah.
So I guess MCL is right behind us, and I think that was the reaction like, Zuya, where's your jungle item? Oops.
Oh no.
Mistakes were made, but hopefully it won't be that much of a consequence for the Warlocks.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and see later on if magiging epekto nga but makaka-epekto ba siya sa magiging overall pressure ng MCL and kung masasabayan nila kasi Yesh does have those extra few minutes ahead in on Suzuya here, especially as a Lee Sin. So makita tayo ng medyo fancy footwork dito kay Yesh mamaya.
And I think I remember saying something silly about the Sion is a bad matchup against an Ornn, but now we're seeing the Sion mid. I think Chisto was mentioning something like a Sion mid to try and match the push. I mean, the meta right now, it's all about mid lane priority, and Chista was very keen on mentioning champions like the Gallia. He was pretty excited when it does pop up, and he was picturing maybe the Sion can happen because we know that Sion has natural push. And what's happening here in the top lane is that they're just waiting out for a sneaky approach.
Interesting, Yesh, kind of lingering there in that back brush on the side of Bulacan State University. Pero yun nga, medyo balanced out kasi yung lane and medyo mabigat rin yung wave. So would have been tricky to have tried to get a set there onto Suhi. Lalo not, I think Suhi could have just sped his way out of there in which case. So
looks like this will be our first time seeing the Sion mid, possibly not the last time.
Yeah.
Because this may be a thing here due to the fact of the changes to the mana items. I mean, the Lost Chapter has been such a staple towards the mages. One of the key items that has been reworked to benefit the mages now becomes expensive.
Yeah, and I think that really changes the dynamic here. But then again, since it's a little bit of a different case with what matchup we're seeing, Yesh is ready.
Looks like a stun will connect. Great work by Zehu, and the knockup will not connect onto the cannon as the Orn went for the charge. May punish. Yeah, he does get punished there. Tried to pop the Bellows Breath to get that shield to try and not get too much damage dealt to him. He did start with the Doran's shield. Interesting. Normally we would see starts with a corrupting potion, then build towards the Doran's shield in lane.
And what's interesting is that, so nakita natin yung attempt ni Yesh na gumank dito sa top side. Pero I kind of like how Sui immediately reacted at. Yan yung sinasabi ko eh. He just sped through, and if anything, parang Bulacan State University pa yung medyo nasa end ng trade na yun, just because Yesh took quite a bit more damage than he was even able to deal onto Sui himself.
Oh, and now for Yesh, he is eyeing the mid lane. The Sion does have his flash. Oh, double gang. We will meet our eyes here because we're meant to be. And now we're seeing BULSU waiting in the wings here. Same with the Warlocks. BULSU X playing the Minecraft here. Who's gonna play chicken? Oh, it's gonna be the Lee Sin join first, going in for the gang, and it's going to be MCL going away. Yes. Oh, he does not commit to the fight. Resonates back towards the Lissandra, shielding it and not having any casualties because the first blood has yet to be secured.
Yeah, saktong-sakto nandun yung dalawang jungler. Could have been a different case if either one of those junglers wasn't quite present in lane, particularly for MCL, just because Stellar was a tad bit more extended onto the Lysandre than the opposite. So, but overall, yeah, like you mentioned, still no casualties. Both sides will just kind of back off right there. If anything, kung titingnan yung end result as far as health bars, the Lysandre and the Sion pretty much kind of ended up even in terms of kung ano yung total na na-reduce sa kanila. So, yeah, we're just kind of back to a bit more of soaring through to see how these lanes are going.
I was actually expecting maybe a first blood in the mid lane, but it looks like for Yesh and Suzuya on his Graves. Graves, one of the jungle champions that is coming back into this patch due to the adjustments to the other stats, but in a way, still, we may see the rise of jungle Graves and potentially make it more interesting because we won't see tanks that much, which are just not that exciting to watch.
Speaking of junglers, it's interesting to note
Except
that
for Zachary.
kung mapapansin nyo si Yesh, like within the first 6 minutes of the game, hindi siya nag-back. So upon his first back, he's already like head up in terms of nearing the completion of his jungle item. And I think this is a manifestation of Yesh just having that luxury of just being able to farm up without really needing to go back to sustain first. And especially Suzuya in comparison, you have to take note, late na nga siya nag-start, and there was a point in the game wherein he needed to go back, which didn't allow him to complete his first rotation of items just yet. Does have boots though, so this gives him a little bit more mobility across the map within these earlier minutes.
300 gold, if I'm correct, getting the machete and the talisman should be enough. 300 should be enough for him to pick up, let's say, the enchantment. I mean, if you want to go for the warrior, go for the warrior. If you want to go for chilling, go for the chilling. Or rather, the challenging smite. I'm sorry about that. Also for the chilling smite. But I think when it comes to the Graves, Suzuya wanted to try and do both things at once, I would say.
Yeah,
While as for Yesh, he's pretty centralized in one thing. Just wants to get a solid item, get sustain, get more damage. And the top lane calls in the Forge God. Will he commit to the fight? That's going to be a bit low for Joey, but I don't think for Chris he will commit further. And this is the beauty of the Orn. I mean, despite getting ganked or even being cornered by the members, he can still wave clear effectively.
Yeah, and in all fairness naman to MCL, they weren't able to get the takedown, but what they did manage to force out of Chris is that flash. So I think, like I mentioned, if it doesn't transition to a kill, at least try to get something off of going for that gank. And a Summoner Spell, I'd take any day, especially when we're this early in on the laning phase.
And onto the items. Right now, we're seeing Suzuya picking up the Greaves. So I think this is in his way trying to catch up. Maybe more movement speed, more attack speed to reload faster. It's something he wants, and he does spot out Yesh, forcing him out. The wards, we don't see any wards in the side of the Warlocks. Red side, because I don't think for Yesh he did have enough time, causing the cannon just for the safety.
Yeah, just decides to back away, not going to be risking any potential scuffles that would have come out as far as wanting to try to contest nga yung red buff na yun. So just immediately goes back to regular farming, pretty much. But interesting to note that Suzuya, upon his second deck, has prioritized going for the Berserker's Grave, so that does grant him all the more movement, not to mention a little bit more reliability as far as basic attacks he can throw out.
Maybe he also wants to match the mobility of a Lee Sin, but it can be a bit difficult because Lee Sin can just bypass wards, getting over the wall. But now, I want to see how things may pan out because we're now approaching the 9-minute mark. Ultimates are all up for the key members of both teams, especially in the mid lane, where we do see Vial and the Sion. Stellar playing the AP Sion mid, getting the Catalyst. Both of them got the Catalyst actually, so this is really chaining themselves down to their own lane.
You know, this is the interesting thing about Bulacan State University for me is medyo napansin ko sa kanila when it comes to these mid lane picks, they kind of like to go for these mid laners that have a bit more utility to them. Like, for example, yung Ariana, this time yung Lissandra could go for potential sets, and abangan sa susunod na kabanata ng LVL.
But we do know what happened there. The Cloud Drake has been secured by BULSU X.
So with that, don't worry guys, we'll get things going once all is good. But yeah, looks like first dragon will be going to Bulacan State University. MCL was able to spot it fortunately a bit too late. Ooh, Suzuya actually dashing in on that dark binding. So predictions by Ralph. Wow.
It could go both ways. He predicted that the dark binding would go there, so he went there to catch it.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. But for BULSU X, great take on the Cloud Drake can help their mobility in rotating around the map here, as we're seeing for the Warlocks, especially in the top lane. Quite even CS trying to catch up with each other. The Ornn still on phase from the early gank. And as for the mid lane, it's really going to be... Lissandra does have the passive where she does not have the mana cost. And I think you're an avid player of Lissandra.
Yeah, I love me some Lissandra. But at the end of the day though, like if you're gonna look at how this kind of works out here, so the Lissandra, meron siyang AP na has damage, pero I feel like there's also a lot of value with her kit in terms of trying to get the sets for Empyrean to really shine. Probably Yesh as well, na once makapag-isolate siya ng target, could get the full lockdown on whoever he does manage to catch up from MCL, provided siguro na wag lang si Syuhi, kasi bringing him into Bulacan State University, that's really not the most ideal thing when he's running a Kennen, kasi Pops and Ultimate baka mabigyan pa ni Yesh ng pagkataon yung Kennen na makapag-set into Bulacan State University. So that's something he has to be a little bit more worried about, doesn't want to be too trigger happy.
He has to be very careful and count those ultimates, not to mention prevent the Cannon from even getting close to his team. It should be key for Yes's job, as we're seeing. That is why I think for Yes, he is running the domination plus the inspiration tree. We do see the magical footwear. He will have a lot of advantage in terms of itemization compared to his Rave.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think it's just yung small manifestation of these small... Dito na nakita natin yung mga small mistakes that could
over the wall, going for the flash. Great swallow by the Tom Kench to deny that Dragon's Ring, but that's going to be disengaged from the Warlocks as the traps has been set. But Yesh will just clean things up here as he got that first blood. What a reaction coming from not just Yesh, but from the Tom Kench.
Yeah, that's kind of the sacrifice rules right there. Coming in from the support of MCL, sacrificing himself to an extent to be able to make sure, because a Chaser would have definitely succumbed to a lot of damage kung hindi siya na-save ng Tom Kench. It looks like MCL gonna make a move here towards bot side. Are they gonna finish this turret? They're back away.
Oh, teleport coming in just for the safety, but he did use his Forge God, but he did spot out the Sion, forced to cancel out Stellar's ultimate a bit too early, as we are seeing a teleport play coming in the bot lane. Gets denied, boy, teleporting inside under tower and gets baited there. Oh my god, what a play there in the top lane.
Yeah, Chris a little bit too eager to have tried to have gone for Syuhi, although he was trying to go for the teleport cancel, but at the same time, yun nga lang, sakto, under turret, nag-teleport si Syuhi. So as soon as Chris canceled that out, it was pretty much a sacrifice that probably would have been necessary, I guess.
Flash in. That's going to be the smoke screen near sighted there. Looks like, yes, will go to the ally. And will he do something here as the ultimate is sadly on cooldown for Warlocks? They are just clearing out the waves. But what happened there in the top lane? As Arctic said, yes, at the last moment, Shui canceled that teleport. And we do know that for Chris, he did the same thing.
Yeah.
But one factor was Chris had to use his kit to tower that. But if he had his ultimate, that may have been a different story.
Could have been. And I think it was a necessary sacrifice kasi kung isipin mo, oo, isang casualty towards the top side. Pero paano kaya ang mangyayari kung si Suhi nakapag-teleport towards the bottom lane? And that was a lot of targets from Bulacan State University na mababa na ang health. That would have been absolutely devastating for BULSU. So, luckily naagapan naman ni Chris, still equal 1-1 on our kill scoreboard. Pero overall, the pace of this game a little bit more on the slower end of things.
One life to save millions. That does sound familiar.
Wow,
that sounds familiar.
That was pretty deep.
I'm just gonna stop there, but it does sound familiar to me. A life for a life is never an equal trade.
Oh my goodness.
As for sorry about that, Arctic. But as for the game is progressing, we're going to be approaching the 15-minute mark as GSX. Getting the Cloud Drake is a good start. I hope they maintain it as the Righteous Glory has been popped in the top lane. Called into Suzuya, and that's going to be the kick away from the slicing master. They're just focusing onto this hamster as it's down for the count. And now it's going to be Suzuya just at the right place for the Ornn to maybe go for the charge, as this is actually quite a suspenseful moment.
Yeah, it's quite suspenseful. Okay, we get the continuation, part 2.
Part 2, and a bit sooner than ever, and oh boy, that was a close call for the Lee Sin. Yes, was it the shield, or was it the fact that he was chugging down his potion? Maybe it was two things. He did survive the last hit.
Man, that was so scary. I was almost expecting that Yesh was going to be going down there, but luckily for him, had all the tools to sustain that one last hit from the turret, but still at the end of the day, they were able to get that kill onto Sue.
Oh my god, look at him go. Just standing in front of the Tomcatch, not being scared at all. It was a 1-for-1 trade, but note that something different happened there because the Tomcatch was the one who took the kill, and now for Chaser just got an assist.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, mas malaki nga naman ang value na nakuha ni Empyrean by him taking the kill himself as opposed to yung support ng MCL na siyang kumuha. Still 1-for-1, but yeah, it's those small details right there, guys. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and check out the gold here. Currently leaning towards 2,000 towards Bulacan State University. So, kanina 1,000, ngayon 2,000. So, nakakita tayo ng slow build-up, but it doesn't necessarily mean this will continue to build up because it's just so subtle. There's so many ways that MCL could still equal out the playing field, better yet, overtake Bulacan State University if they could seize that opportunity.
But for the Warlocks, know that the Scion is in the mid lane picking up that banner of command. Expect that the Lissandra will have a difficult time as we are seeing being popped right now. May call some help from the jungler because all this pushing, all this planning is all about getting the push, as I think Yal will be forced to just back off while we see Suzuya in the river. Just past the Scuttle Vision there on Warlock's side, of course. So we're seeing no wards being placed by Warlocks in the bottom lane. They're the brush, and now we may expect some interactions in the Ocean Drake, because as far as I can see around the map, and you guys can see here, we are seeing most of the members are just being chained to each other.
Yeah, and
that's a good feeling.
Oh yeah,
that's security right there. You know that someone's waiting for you. Oh god, Commissioner.
Commissioner, please.
Somehow, somewhere, I think I heard him scream in the other side of the office. But looks like we are experiencing the technical difficulties here. As again, we do apologize for that. We will resume to our 8th game soon. But so far for BULSU, trying to take control in the early phases of the game. Yeah,
and I gotta say, so far, looking good for both sides here. I mean, we've seen proactivity from BULSU in trying to make plays. MCL, great reactions as well. I mean, there were a lot of fights which could have been devastating, pero dahil sa alalay, dahil sa right calls ng either side, nakita pa rin naman natin na balance yung game. So, looks like we'll get back into things. Everything is good to go.
balance in all things.
Wow.
Shift one thing from one side, it's not going to help. And I think it's going to be a second gank there. Great size there from the Jinx. And Tom Catch for the swallow will help the Jinx survive. And now calls in the teleport coming from the top lane a bit too early. Looks like Juhi is a bit too close to kill range as we're seeing the Graves. Okay, things will look spicy as we're seeing y'all just stopping Stellar from rejoining the fight without any chip damage to the Scion. The Ocean Drake has been started. They didn't want to start it, but the Ocean Drake was wanting to have some fun there. Slow. Okay, that was close call. The slow from the Drake may have been enough for the Science Q to hit, but now they are switching their focus from the bot. They were able to secure the first turret. Congrats for that, and now they're going for the Ocean Drake.
And again, Bulacan State University coming up on top of that game.
Okay, I changed my mind. That's going to be a great 3-man knockup Arctic, because now it's going to be the fight for the Warlocks to try and clean up, and no, it won't be it, because despite being low, they are still in there to fight.
Okay, I was about to say 1-0 plus a tower. I'm gonna have to update that stat. That's gonna be a 1-2 quick
What
match.
value?
1-2-3. Yeah, a lot of value there. I mean, they get total of 3 targets from MCL. They get first turret, they get a dragon, they get another turret in the mid lane, and that's just gonna be the pop-off right there. Kanina, diba? I just said 2K yung difference ng gold. Look at it right now. Suddenly popping all the way to 6,000, and that's gonna be massive for Bulacan State University kung tuloy pa rin yung momentum.
You know what? If it's the fact that BULSU, having a history in collegiate esports, now making their debut, they just look like they're in their environment right now. I mean, they're playing field. Now I have high expectations for the coming up weeks, as Penguin Authority will take stage for our week 2. But now for Raiders Arcus, we may have to wait for them for now, but coming soon. But now going back to this game, huge progress coming towards the blue side. But for Warlocks, I think we did mention Arctic during the drafting phase a sub-in by the top lane Shuhi instead of Lucis.
In all fairness, though, I gotta say, Suhi has actually been doing pretty okay. Dealing with Resource topside with Empyrean.
Okay, look at the CC. What was that? Tom Catch, the MVP, as he was just playing with his food there and not finishing up there. Hi there, Jinx. He survived. Thanks for that. Bye-bye, Jinx. Now in the top lane, that's going to be a double kill as we are seeing Suzuya cleaning house.
Bulacan State University. Okay, you guys had a great time in the bot lane, pero you're not super ahead just yet. That was a bit way too much of an overextend. And dahil dyan, they lose out on 2 members, not to mention 3 members actually, plus a third to boot at surprising enough, at least like from 6,000 closes down to 4,000. Could have gone way worse, but yeah, that was a very questionable overextend from BULSU.
I mean, this makes it more interesting because that was such a clutch coming from the Kaiser, trying his best. Imperium trying his best to just take down the Jinx, but what happened there? Oh my god, props to the Tomken shot. Props to the Tomken, especially drops. I mean, he's the one who controlled the flow, got the slow, has the thick skin and the tongue for the stun there to stop to stop that Kaiser from securing the kill. I mean, he could have closed it into the Jinx, but no, what happened there? Get stunned.
Yeah, and that kind of sets Bulacan State University in allowing MCL to slowly equal back the playing field. But take note, we're currently at a point 20 minutes into the game, so Baron is up. So this is quite the time right now wherein both sides need to start establishing better control through their vision. And well, so far, Bulacan State University has been on top of that, but looks like MCL slowly making their way towards this Baron to do some control of their own.
You know, what I love about this comp is that most of the time we talked about the Baron being a risky situation, in this patch. But now, this will be interesting because we're seeing the Cannon, the Scion, on the red side. And as for BULSU's side and the blue side, we do see the Ornn and the Lissandra. It is getting risky, more risky for both teams because we do have powerful game-changing tools here. The Scion's ultimate plus the Cannon's follow-up. And on not just that, the Lissandra and the Ornn's ultimate. Especially the Forge God. Without a doubt, a powerful engage tool and a disengage.
Oh yeah, definitely. And overall here, I mean, we're looking at a position where, okay, Empyrean and Ralph really want in on this first turret. But then again, Suzuya has constantly been keeping himself in check by maintaining his position over the top side because Empyrean and Ralph, again, they've proven to have had that overextend earlier. Might be a habit. Let's see if MCL can capitalize on it if it is indeed something that would repeat itself. But meanwhile, towards the spot lane against Yuhi and Chris, it's this very classic top lane pushing each other. Yuhi fending off whatever push Chris goes for, so just pretty much balances out.
And as for the kill score, 7-5. I just love how at this point, when that kill score, when I look at it, I just don't see that much basis where the Warlocks are at a disadvantage, because as we are skating up towards maybe when the leads, the gold leads are irrelevant, you can picture right now the tools they have to work with and the risk of starting the Baron. So you can see right now, no teams are just really going for it. They're just playing mind games here as they're just looking at the Baron, trying to just scout things out here and just mind games.
Whew. Meanwhile, looks like, kind of standing on top of a ward, my friend. So they kind of know in on your positioning and knows that he wants to try to go for a set, but looks like he will back away for the meantime.
He was spotted there. Great focus in the top lane, and guys, I want to look at these items on the Tom Catch. Knight's Vow, so you can expect Chaser will have a difficult time being taken down by the members of GSX. Close call there, the rockets will not hit. Great skin, and now we're seeing the turret being taken down by GSX slowly, chip after chip. Finally takes down the third turret of the game, going to BULSU.
Yeah, Bulacan State University looks like their patient is the ward, but meantime, Chris is on the run.
He's blinded for now, but he's outside the smoke screen, flashes out, calls the Forge God, and goes back into OK. Quite unfortunate there. I knew what he was going for. He wanted to use the Bellows Breath to buy some time with the shield, then pop the R. Okay, never mind. Pop the R right after that, but it's a bit too slow because he didn't flash out. But now, let's look at the Baron.
Oh man, can Bulacan State University finish this before Stellar makes his way for a potential contest?
Can they survive with the Baron buff? That's the question here. As Stellar going in for a drift. Q.
Wow.
Yes, because of the Dragon's Rage does deny the Q and does deny the re-engage from Warlocks. As we do see the Banner of Command minion going towards the mid lane, they may eye the Infernal Drake because they know that the members of Warlocks were at the Baron pit, and for the members of BULSU, just return base.
Kung meron tayong tinatawag na insect, I'm gonna call that the yes. Man, just beautiful right there. That could have been really bad if Stellar was able to get a catch onto Bulacan State University, but Yesh luckily had the ultimate to shove him away, so yes indeed.
He did go straight in front of the Science face and just took one for the team.
Yeah.
And now, kill score 7-6. This is one of the games that I love. I mean, a back and forth, you would say, in my view of this game, it's going to be interesting because when you say something that's back and forth, it can go with both. I mean, it could be something about skating, could be something about that. But when I say back and forth, I meant that they're doing punches one after another. You see the other team doing one thing, let's say trying to contest the Baron. They do the same thing by going towards the Infernal. That's what I mean by back and forth, because it's going to be a very interactive game to watch.
And I think this is going to make things all the more interesting, Vulcan, as far as the build-up that we're seeing here. Bulacan State University, drops. Okay.
Thick skin. He has the thick skin. Helper coming in here.
Wow, nice steal there from Sui.
That is nice. I mean, the red buff being denied, that is good. That's good stuff here, because the Kai'Sa will not have the red buff. That's who knows, maybe the smallest things that Warlocks are denying are the smallest elements for them to try and push them back, as the minions are now in the mid lane, buffed up by the Baron.
Okay, so let's go ahead and check out what's happening for Bulacan State University. 1-1 configuration.
Okay, pickups here. This is BULSU being a bad spot. Double coming, Slicing Master should expire right now and pops the stakes. Timing is everything, as that will be a decisive flash from the cannon. And now you see Yesh going towards the back lane, going for the kick there onto two members. A two-man knockoff under the tower. Will it be enough? Thick skin has been popped by the Tom Catch. The Jinx is down. The Silent and the Tom Catch only remains. That's it for now, as we see the ace of the game going to BULSU X.
How did Bulacan State University not suffer a single casualty in that? Wow, ace for BULSU right there. Not to mention the fact that I like how they kind of layered their priorities there. May ibang nag-commit into taking down that turret. Yung iba nag-focus sa champions that they have to take down for MCL. And oh my goodness, is this going to be the finish?
Can they defend it? I'm seeing it that time. 7 seconds, 6 seconds onto the cannon. Looks like Suzuya is alive here. Can he do something? Oh, over aggressive, yes, but he doesn't care as the Nexus is being taken down. Looks like BULSU, what a great debut in the opening week of the 2018 LVL Spring Term.
Hashtag Bulacan Pride right there.
Oh, Arctic, this is a good day for you too.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to the peeps there up north, and I think what a great performance there by BULSU. But especially the fact that when they went for, oh my god, that I don't know how no one died there. They were just they were dancing around the tower. Maybe Chisto could have talked about that. I don't know that much well, but looks like we'll be ending here. But Arctic, what did you like about that game?
Well, I gotta say, what I like about this is, actually, just for context, it's na-mention naman na I support Bulacan State University, pero at the same time, like another one of my favorite teams kasi in the LVL was Malayan Colleges Laguna kasi yung first term ng LVL sila lang yung yung team na galing ng province. So, syempre, like I have massive support for both teams. So, talagang tricky yung situation na yun. But yeah, what I like about that is probably yung build-up na yun into that last clash. Nagkaroon ng stumble. I really didn't like that overextend from the 3 members of Bulacan State University earlier towards the top side, because if they continue to make mistakes like that, yun sana yung pwede maging avenue ng Malayan Colleges na Laguna na maka-comeback eh. Pero after that, wala naman na tayo nakita masyadong fumble. And that was a pretty sneaky Baron that they pulled off. And I think that was just the massive build-up right there into the victory.
And one thing that I liked about for, I would say, MCL side is it's quite unfortunate that they were in the makings to try and come back to that game. But what happened there was the smallest mistakes.
Yes.
It's quite unfortunate because the smallest mistakes right down in the bot lane, I'm pretty sure that they weren't expecting no casualties from BULSU, and they were surprised that they got aced there and just lost the game, ending their opening week with a 1-2, meanwhile for BULSU 2-0.
And we only had like 2 teams that went 2-0 today, yung FUIT and Bulacan State University, which is actually for a lot of people 2 of the teams na baka hindi in-expect ng mga tao na mag-2-0. But then again, it just goes to show na anything happens in the LVL. But I'd also like to touch on MCL real quick. What I would have loved to have seen from MCL in this game is yun nga yung once we hit the 20-minute mark, it's almost a given na you want to try to commit as many members to linger around the Baron side in case na may mag-initiate. And saktong-sakto kasing sneaky Baron play ng Bulacan State University because that was the time na yun nga Chris was dealing with 2 members, tapos may mga iba pang papalapit na members ng MCL to have dealt with that split pushing Ornn, and parang yun na yung mismo yung naging go signal ng Bulacan State University. Stellar actually had the premonition to have felt na okay, maybe Baron was starting and that was the case. So such a shame, pero it's those small at least for MCL I saw improvement. It's just fine-tuning yung smaller details na lang, and I think as the term goes along with the experience, they still have a pretty good shot for me to make playoffs if they could make those corrections.
This makes everything exciting, and
yeah,
I think
definitely.
I think BULSU got themselves some attention, but I'm excited to see what the other 2 new schools will be showing us in the next week of the LVL. Mixed stage, Adams Pingin Authority will make their debut in the second week. I have expectations for the new teams, but also higher expectations for the 7 first pioneering schools. But I guess Arctic, we'll be signing up here. What a day it is here to celebrate, to start things off here with the LVL Week 1. This is me, Vulcan, and Arctic signing up for now. See you next week on Sunday, same time, same place. Great 3-man knockup, Arctic, because now it's going to be the fight for the Warlocks to try and clean up, and no, it won't be it because despite being low, they are still force a kick there on the 2 members. A 2-man knockup under the tower. Will it be enough? Thick Skin has been popped by the Tomcatch. The Jinx is down. The Silent and the Tomcatch only remains. That's it for now as we see the ace of the game. And they defend it. I'm seeing it that time. 7 seconds, 6 seconds onto the cannon. Looks like Suzuya is alive here. Can he do something? Oh, over aggressive. Yes, but he doesn't care as the Nexus is being taken down. Looks like BULSU, what a great debut in the opening week of the 2018 LVL